Hi, this is Nick from LinkSentry. In today's video, we will talk about the life cycle of a domain name. Don't forget to audit your links at linksentry.io. Let's start with a registrar, a very popular registrar called Namecheap. Today, let's say that you decide to purchase a new domain name for your new startup. This domain name is mynewawesomestartup.com, and that is available for you today, and you can register it for $11.28. As you may notice here, this is per year. Something that people may not know is that you never really own a domain name. You just rent it. And as long as you can keep paying the yearly rent for that domain name, you can keep that domain name indefinitely. However, bad things happen when you decide to stop paying that bill, that yearly bill, or you forget to pay that bill. Let's look at the life cycle of a domain name. Here we start on the left. On the left are all the domain names that are available to you today. Any idea that you have, any domain name for a company, for a hobby, that starts out as a potentially available domain name. If you decide to purchase that domain name, as we saw here for Namecheap, for $11.28, you can purchase that domain name typically for either 1, 2, all the way up to 10 years. You can prepay that domain name for up to 10 years. And as long as you keep paying that yearly bill, this domain name will stay yours. And that is what all the big companies are doing. Even Google has to keep re-registering their domain name every year or every 10 years, however long is the term of their registrations. If, however, you decide not to pay that bill, or if you forget about it, or if you changed email addresses and you didn't get the emails, your domain name will cross this threshold called expiration. And this is the danger zone for users and for domain owners alike. In this first orange box, this is called auto renew grace period. This is a place where, at least for the first few days in that box, you can still recover your domain name and go back into owning it fair and square. However, the longer you wait, the less likely it is that you'll be able to reclaim the domain name. And different registrars decide how long this grace period will be. If you wait too long, you actually move into the so-called redemption period. Technically, this is still a process where you can recover your domain name. However, you can expect to pay significantly more for re-registering the domain name. If these days pass, this is the last phase, and there is unfortunately not going out of that phase. It's called the pending delete phase, and this is the last 5 days before a domain name becomes available again for general registration. So every single day, hundreds of thousands of domain names expire because no one registered them and they ignored or they never received these notifications about the grace period and the redemption period. And there are specialized websites such as expiredomains.net that allow you to look at all the domains that are expiring or recently expired. In this case, you can see that there's 250,000 domain names that are in a pending delete state. And these are the domains about anything and everything on the internet. You will find businesses that failed, speculators that register a domain name hoping that they will become something, phishing sites, malicious sites, good sites, typo squatting. So there is really anything that you can imagine is potentially in this list of pending deleted domain names. Let's focus on this one, kidsclick.org. This indicates that this is something related to kids content. We will use the Wayback Archive to figure out what this site used to be. So you see that this is a screenshot from September 7, 2022, and it appears to be some sort of kid-oriented search site that is designed by librarians that produces kid-friendly results. And that seems to have been a website that operated until 2022 or so. And in this message, we can see that KidsClick has been retired. So between 2022 and 2025, this domain name was allowed to expire. And that is why we see it on this list of expired domain names. And if you pay attention, you will see that this domain name has a lot of residual trust. According to this site, expiredomains.net, there's 174,000 backlinks to this website. And we can confirm this using the Hrefs platform. We can see that kidsclick.org has a domain rating of 47. And according to Hrefs, it has 7.4 thousand links that are pointing into it. And if you see here on the left, the vast majority of these are actually schools. They are kids' schools that are pointing to this website. Presumably, it's a list. They have a list of websites that they tell their students that they can use for safe online activities, and kidsclick.org is part of that list. The problem is, if you think about this, that since this domain name has expired, it means that everyone and anyone can pick this up, register it, and point that domain name to whatever it is that they want to point, including hopefully kid related content, but potentially content that is very much not appropriate for kids. And if we go to dropcatch.com, this is a site that does auctions for domain names. You can see that kidsclick.org has been picked up by them, and it's currently in auction mode. And there is about 3 days left, and the current bid is at $28. And of course, my expectation is that this will go in the high hundreds, if not thousands, by the time this auction is done, because again of the residual trust of this domain name. The fact that the backlinks to that are in the hundreds of thousands, or even conservatively in the tens of thousands. And this indicates the problem of how the internet works. We have this highly sensitive kidsclick.org domain name with thousands of schools linking to it that was allowed to expire, and now anyone with sufficient funds can actually pick it up and do whatever it is that they want to do with it. And the only way that these links will stop working is if the schools, each school at a time, are told about what happened, and then they go in and they change the content. And that is essentially why it is important to understand the how critical is the life cycle of a domain name. If you're the owner of a domain name, even if you decide to let go of your business, you're shutting down your business, you really have to consider what happens after you let this domain name expire. If you are a website with a lot of external links, such as one of these schools, you really have to think about how you manage these external links, right? If you have content that's been there for a couple of years, are you really sure that all your links still point to the same content that they used to point to when you actually establish these links? And this is where LinkSentry can help you by continuously auditing your links and letting you know that you are linking to one or more domain names that have actually switched hands and are likely not pointing to content that is appropriate anymore. Thank you for your attention, and don't forget to audit your site at linksentry.io. Help us secure the web one link at a time.